Hey guys, I'm going to talk something about a pretty big passion of mine. Not that I've ever owned one of these cars, but geez, I love them. The old Bathurst cars. When Ford actually had a company here in Australia and Holden had a company in Australia, and you had the production cars racing each other. Well, my friend, what's this got to do with investments, you say? Well, a friend of mine, he bought E49 RT Charger. Get this, we would have been about 20, so it was nearly 40 years ago. For him, it was 40 years ago. He paid $3,000 for this car. Now, the car externally was immaculate, very good condition. Whoever had that car before him did the job on restoring the exterior, all the decals in the right place, everything. It was an original E49. And interior, a lot of work to be done. Still drivable, but a lot of work to be done on the interior. So my friend bought it for $3,000, and a couple of years later, maybe not even a couple of years, but it wasn't that long later, he sold it for like $7,000. And he was so wrapped, to the point where he looked at us and goes, "That's how you do business. You buy the car at this price, sold it for $7,000. We know where this is going, don't we? It's an RT E49. Yeah, then it went up to 10,000, then it went to 15, 20, 30, kept going. Today it's sitting on about $500,000. Depends which one you get. You can get the more Bathurst friendly ones, and they are absolute monsters. And then it got to the point where we looked at him and goes, "Remember that E49 you had?" And he goes, "Yeah." We go, "That's how you do business." Yeah. But anyway, me personally, at that time, you could have easily bought the XAs, XBs, E49s, some of the Monaros. You could have easily bought them for pretty cheap prices. I remember when I went out car shopping with my dad, and I actually found a SS Monaro, and it only had a 186 slotted in it. And I said, "Dad, I'll have that." He goes, "Nah, too big and powerful of an engine." Seriously? 186? Never got it. Mind you, I probably would have bought it, sold it for something else. You just didn't think then that things like that were going to have such a value. Now, I was talking to a friend about cars. See, look, let's go. If I was going to invest in an ex-Bathurst car, like, you could be paying anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million for one, I would probably, that'd be a passion of mine if I had the money. All right. Now, if I wanted to grow money and I had to spend $500,000 to $1 million, it would be on property. I'd go the property way. The cars didn't go up as much as housing and property did. Just the way it is. Sorry, guys. All you passionate heads about the cars, I know. And I know some people that have done really well out of the cars. They've done really bloody well out of them. Yeah, so he lost a fair bit. I still got some friends that got XU1s. I've got some friends with XU1s. So I don't know how much they ever were. I don't think they ever won Bathurst. See, if your car actually won Bathurst, it's worth more. Today, my mate nailed it when he said, he goes, "The Bathurst cars will never lose their value." It's a lost piece of Australian history now. We don't have car companies making production cars here anymore. So those cars, the GT, XYHO, GTHO, XYGT. Oh, bloody forgotten. I'm half asleep. I had a big long day today. But that car's worth a mint. It will never lose value. Today, sadly, We got nothing on the track anymore. No Australian production cars. They're all American. Bathurst just isn't what Bathurst once was to me, you know. So, but my mate said, he goes, when you look at XR6s and the Holden versions, he goes, it's a very temperamental market because you're going to get a group of people, generations are going to change. You're going to get a group of people that don't hold value in those cars anymore. It just doesn't excite them. The values will drop. The Bathurst models, which cost you an arm and a leg, they will never drop. They will never. The other cars probably will, depending on what, you know, what the next generation that's got the money willing to spend, what they desire. So let's say my age group might go for the GTHOs and all that, but my kids' age group coming up, they don't even know what a GTHO is. Right? They don't know. XYGTHO, yeah. So they'll be valuing other sorts of cars. Like when you look up some of the Model T Fords and that era of cars, you know, the Bonnie and Clydes, and they're not worth that much. My mate bought a Ford Lincoln, 1948 Ford Lincoln, the first car to win the Daytona 500 or one of the big NASCAR races. If you actually watch the movie Cars, old Doc is a Ford Lincoln. All right, the first ever Daytona winner. One of the big American races anyway. It was the first ever winner. They're not worth much. That's the way it is. He bought it for, I think it was around $20-something thousand. See, but there would have been a generation where they would have paid big money for that Lincoln. Not anymore. And this is probably the direction a lot of the more modern cars are going to go. They've never raced in Bathurst. They're not a production car. Now they're not even Australian cars. So, and I personally, look, my car, if I've ever got into that sort of money, would be the AC Cobra. Oh, yeah. And I'd put a 427 Ford in it. I'd go try and make it as original as possible. Obviously, if you want to hunt the original, you've probably got to wait in a line up, and you've got to have some serious money in your pocket, and you've got to bid for it, because there'll be a lot of people going for the original AC Cobra. But that's on the cars. You know, like, cars is more of you've made it. You want some toys to play with, park in your garage, polish, work on them, tinker, maybe a small Sunday drive. You know, that's, if you're at that stage, cars are good to play with. But if you're trying to get to that stage, highly suggest stick with the, you know, more profitable land, property. I do like my precious metals. You know, it's a bit shaky at the moment, but Bitcoin still gets me, because Bitcoin still, like, everyone's going, oh, Bitcoin's this, Bitcoin's that. It's literally just a number. It's a number printed out by a computer, floating out in the air just like a dollar bill. No different. And like, dollar bill is literally just that number. You're holding a piece of paper with a number on it. And the value is in that number, not in the piece of paper. Sorry, guys. So anyone holding dollar bills and $50 bills and $100 bills under your bed, not a good place to have. All right, start putting them into something, even if you want to make a whiskey cabinet. But be careful with that too. Don't go around bragging about it to people, because a friend of mine got robbed and they took all his alcohol. And it was a good sum of alcohol. Good luck trying to find that. No registration. Maybe if he's smart enough, like if you've got really good bottles, they've got numbers on them. But it'd be next to impossible trying to find them now. But anyway, all right, guys, that's all I was going to chat about today. It was mainly the RT Charger story. that was a good one. All right, guys. You guys take it easy. We chat soon. See you later.